Royston Smith, Member of Parliament, Southampton Itchen.
Can you outline why you campaigned for Britain to leave the EU?
Simple for me. I think that we are an independent sovereign nation that has its best years still ahead of it, and lots of people voted for different reasons. Mine were really simple. I don't like the Parliament, I don't like the Commission, I don't recognise the court, the anthem or the flag. I'm British. I think Britain can stand up its own 2 feet, and that's why I voted to leave.
Are you able to explain some of the reasons you think people voted to remain?
One of the things that people voted remain for, and I can't speak for them all, and I wouldn't even attempt to, is because it's the path of least resistance. We're already in. It isn't that bad, is it? We might just as well stay. Who knows what's going to happen if we leave? So I think a lot of Remain people voted in that way, which is why there are plenty of Remain people now that are not saying, let's have another referendum, let's do it all again. They're saying, just get on with it. We voted now. You gave us our chance. We did what we did, and now get on with it. So I think there's an element of that in Remain.
What sort of Brexit would you like to see?
They're our friends. We are not leaving Europe. We're leaving this political union, which many people didn't recognise and still don't. If they thought about it logically, no one asked us if we wanted to join an organisation that is top heavy with unelected people. So what I want to see is a really close relationship, a good free trade arrangement for us so that our manufacturing and our services can cross seamless borders. We need to do big free trade deals with the US, China, South America, our Commonwealth, Africa, Middle East. There are markets for us.
What do you think should happen to EU internationals currently in Britain?
Simple, stay. I've always said that from the start. People that come here, make their homes here, came under a process where that was legitimate and legal. They should be allowed to stay, and if they contribute to our country, then the more of those we have, the better I like it. Now, the problem with the free movement of people, which is one of the 4 pillars of the European Union, is that people can come, they can bring 20 of their family members, they can come and settle in this country whether they have a job or not, and they can come and live here whether they contribute or not. Now, any immigration policy worth its salt looks for the people that they need, and one day that may be plumbers, the next day that may be brain surgeons. But what we do is we look for those people and we bring them in on merit. They contribute, they become British if they wish to, and they're welcome to stay.
A large part of the Is It Worth It campaign is that what they're asking for is that the people have a say on the terms that we leave the EU on. How do you feel about that?
They can have their say. You're having the say now. The bus that's driving around is going to have its say. If they're not asking, that's a referendum then. You can't have a say without a vote unless it's a referendum.
So, but what they're asking for is a referendum on the facts.
You said they're not asking for a second referendum. They're asking for a second referendum.
I misspoke.
Now, fine, but they're asking for another referendum. You know, this is typical of what the European Union has become. So if you look at the Irish referendum, they didn't go the right way the first time, so they had another one. This is typical. You can keep on asking the question till you get the answer you want. What you can't do is you can't prove a negative. So we're leaving the European Union because the people were given a vote. We've asked you the question, we told you it's an in-out referendum, we told you what the circumstances would be, we told you what the end game was, people voted, and then people said, but I don't like that. Do you know what the Remain campaign now, this new campaign now is doing? They're saying that you, the people, are just not bright enough to make a decision. And they...
How is that what the Remainers campaign Isn't that what
let me finish this point. They, the people that want to do it again, think they are much brighter than the people that voted.
But they're not asking on another referendum on whether we stay or leave. They're asking for the terms on which we leave, as in
there are no
Brexit.
There can't be, well, this is all a myth. Hard Brexit, soft Brexit. We're leaving. We're leaving the Commission, the Court, and the Parliament. We will no longer recognise the flag or the anthem. That's it. Full stop. That's done. Done. What we're now talking about is what our relationship will be like in the future. That's a completely different thing. And do you know how you change that? You kick the government out and you put a new one in that says it's got a different way of doing things. But the leaving is what we were voting on, and we are leaving. Why are they not asking for a referendum on the terms of any deal we might do with China? Or any deal we might do with Bahrain, or Lebanon, or the Falkland Islands? Why are they not asking for a referendum on any deal that we do with them? No, they're asking for a referendum on this one because They don't trust the public with the vote that they were given.
So how will Brexit affect the people of Southampton Itchen?
90% of all trade that goes through the port of Southampton is not the EU. So I think business is going to do well, and I think as a result of that, people in Southampton are going to do better than they otherwise have been doing in the past.
Some say that momentum had significant influence over the Southampton test in the last general election, causing Alan Whitehead to more than double his vote majority. Will your 31 vote majority hold if the Corbynista group target Southampton Itchen next?
I'm very grateful to the 31 people that made sure that I survived, but I'm more interested in the 20-odd thousand that voted for me. They're the people that sent me here to do this job, and they're the ones that I represent. Now, I represent everyone as their MP because that's the job, but I don't fixate on the 31. I'm more concerned about the 20-odd thousand.
What about the 50,000 people in Southampton as a whole that voted to remain? How do you, as a known Brexiteer, not alienate them?
Yeah, that's a good point. I've been saying that all the time. You know, in my constituency of Southampton Itchen, 60% of people voted to leave. Now, that is a coincidence, if you like. I happen to be someone that wanted to leave. I'm not an extreme Brexiteer. I just, court, commission, parliament, that's my thing. But it just so happened that more of my constituents voted to leave than voted to remain. However, and the point that I've made all the way through, right through from Prime Ministerial down, is that we now are representing the people that voted to leave because the Leave campaign were victorious in that particular referendum. Our job is to make sure that we bring as many Remainers with us as we can. Some of them just won't. Tony Blair, John Major, Alistair Campbell, you can never reconcile these people. They feel like they have been personally slighted by people that have a different view to them. There's not much we can do about that. But the people that, as I said to you, that are ambivalent, that said I would rather remain, but we've now voted to leave. Those are the people we need to convince. We need to work very hard to get them to understand what the process is going forward, and we need to make the best job of Brexit for them as much as for the people that voted to leave.
Great.
All done?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.